There is this myth that disabled people are somehow wanting to live a life of absolute luxury and affluence and privilege. That just isn't simply the truth. I'll show you how they're living if I can able to turn this camera around. They are more likely to be reliant on public transport than other members of society who are not disabled. And there is this myth that has been peddled against them, particularly from political organisations who want to present themselves as voices of the working classes. And they're saying to people who are in minimum wage jobs, look at you, you're working hard, you're putting food on the table, you're making ends meet, you're trying your hardest to succeed in life, and yet there's these people who are claiming benefits, who supposedly are, saying that they've got stuff like ADHD and so on and so forth. The reality is these people are actually living on razor-thin margins. They're living off public transport, they're living off food banks, they're living off charitable organisations, community centres, council buildings. They're going more often to council buildings to deal with affairs for money management, to council tax arrears, to housing services. And they're also going, it's just basically they're being given a life of community centres, charities, food banks and council buildings. And there's this myth that they somehow live a life of luxury, which is not true. It's just not true. The reality is I've never come across somebody who's got ADHD and drives a Land Rover Defender. No, I've come across people who are accountants and run businesses who have it, but I've never come across somebody on sickness benefits who has one. Even the old version, the second-hand, the British-built version, never mind this new modern, I think is Hungarian-made version. And it just shows you the lies that are being fed in the media about disabled people. And now we're beginning to see, I'll just show you right behind. I'll just read the bus timetables. It says number 2 Middleton Fort Lane 12 minutes, number 2 Leeds Corn Exchange 42 minutes. I'm somebody who's on PIP, and all I know is that if this bus doesn't turn up tonight, that's it, I'm screwed. I'll have to get a taxi home. And that's what the damage of PIP cuts will be, is that somebody could end up being stranded here for not just another 40, they could get themselves down to Leeds Corn Exchange in 42 minutes. But what happens if they need to urinate along the way? What happens if they need to have a toilet stop along the way, or they need to go and have something to eat? What are they meant to do? Go with a dry mouth and be hungry on the way back home and come back home on an empty stomach? This is not right, and it's time to say the truth as it is, which is low-wage, minimum wage workers who work in places like Aldi, B&M, Tesco, Lidl. It's your bosses, it's your CEOs that are earning, the bus on the other side of the road is called 12. They're earning £12 million, and you're being a slave working for 12 quid an hour, and you're still taking the 12 bus with people who've been to children's homes, young offenders, prisons and mental hospitals, as well as the elderly and vulnerable adults that the community has nowadays, because we don't have the lifelong mental hospitals that we used to have, like the one that used to exist in Menston